I got another story. This is about the beat that almost happened. This was my actual first placement. Now, oh, keep in mind, this is back when labels were giving money for your beat. They had to give you up front before the artist said a word on it. You know what I mean? These days, your joint goes out there, and you still ain't been paid nothing. But back in the day, they were cutting checks fast. So, boom, I did a track for Busta, and I was working at Sony Studios. We were in there. I had a demo deal with my group Creator. So we were meeting everybody, you know, from Swizz, da-da-da. But one day I walked in the bathroom, and Bus and Swizz were in there. And I had just made this beat that sounded perfect for Bus. So I'm like, oh shit, this is Bus, this is my chance. So I'm like, yeah, Bus, what's up, Fury? And I already knew Swizz, so Swizz kind of vouched me. He's like, oh yeah, this is Fury, he got dope beats. So he's like, word? I was like, yeah, you know what I mean, let me get your number so I can link up with you. And he's like, well, here, take the office number, call the office. I was used to artists just giving me the personal number, you know, and build a relationship with them. I was like, oh, come on, man, you gonna do me like that? He's like, no, I'm telling you, call the office tomorrow and they're gonna set you up with a meeting. I was like, oh man, I was all excited for a second. Went back downstairs to everybody. I was like, man, I just met Buzz. They're like, where? I was like, yeah. But he gave me the office number. Everybody's like, oh man. So the next day, I called the office, and I think it's his cousin named Todd. He was like, yeah, Buzz told me you were gonna call. Come on down today. So I was like, okay, wow. His word was bomb. So I went down there. I had this one beat. I played the beat. As soon as the beat went off, he was like, Todd was like, I'm gonna make sure that Bus records this joint. I was like, this is my first placement. So I'm like, wow, I'm about to meet Busta Rhymes. So boom, you know, I was trying to keep my business right. Like I said, before they laid a word on the joint, you had to get your up front. So we're like, look, okay, we want 15 stacks and everything. They're like, okay, we'll get that to you. Now now Bus kept, like, I mean, they were saying, yeah, Bus just want you to come track it. You're gonna have your check in a week. I'm like, no, man, no. Me and my manager's like, nope, get us the upfront and we'll come track it right away. So I'm in the crib, my phone rings, and guess who it is? Busta Rhymes calling me. I'm like, oh, he's like, yo, Phil. I'm good friends with him now, but he's like, yo, Phil. I'm like, who is this? He's like, this is Bus. You know, he was all in character on the phone. I'm like, Busta Rhymes? He's like, yeah. He's like, man, I really need you to come down there and I'll lay the track. I'm like, oh man, come on, Bus. You know I gotta keep my business right. Nah, Phil, come on, please. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. So a few days went by. They got me that check quick though. It wasn't a week. They got me that check in like 3 days. So as soon as I got the check, I went down there, tracked the beat for him. So you know, he didn't lay it that night. But it was crazy because I would go, like he just kept telling me, come back to the studio, just come anytime you want to, we'll be here, just meet everybody, be around. So I would walk in the studio and they'd be like, I'd be like, yeah, I'm Fury, you know, they'd be like, okay, who are you? I'd be like, I'm the one who did that beat, da-da-da. They'd be like, oh, word? Oh, you the one who did that? Oh, come on in. So, alright, Bus records the joint. I'm not there when he records it. This was also the last song recorded on that album. And, you know, he kind of rushed it. You know what I mean? But the beat was like, it was very abstract. It was different than anything that Bus had ever did and everything. And he didn't necessarily rush it because on purpose, but it was just the timing of the album. They had to get it printed. So boom, he did the joint. So he calls me, he's like, yeah, I need you to come down to the studio, check out the joint. So I'm excited. I'm like, oh wow, it's my first placement. You know, I'm telling everybody, yeah, I'm about to go to the studio, hear the joint that I just did with Bus. So me and my man should be getting the whip, boom, head out to the city to the stew. Walk in there, Bus plays the joint, and I was kind of disappointed. Real talk. Bus is an amazing MC, you know, still to this day. But you know, some songs just don't come out like you may vision it as a producer. So he plays it, and I'm like, okay, this is Busta Rhymes. I can't just necessarily tell him that I don't like it. So he plays it, and the first thing I said when it stopped was, "It's not finished, is it?" He's like, yeah, it's finished. You see, it's like a train. It's coming at you, and coming at you, and coming at you. So this Busta Rhymes doing this to me. It's like a train. It's coming at you, and coming at you. I'm almost shook, like, oh shit, I ain't gonna tell him that. But yeah, long story short, man, it didn't end up going out on the album. But every opportunity that you get in this music business, it's not always the direct situation that gets you to where you're going. You get so many situations from one situation that, you know, it's just like a blossom. You know, it's like a flower. Like you plant the seed right here, and then you got flowers growing over here and flowers growing over here. So that's how that opportunity put me in place to do even more work. Like I said, I would walk in the studio after that, tell them the beat I did, and everybody would just look at me like I was a king and everything. And you know, I got to be real good friends with Bus. Shout out to Busta and everybody. And yeah, that was my experience. And I still got my 15,000. And it didn't even go on the album. So y'all selling beats for $50, $500, and it's going on the album, that's cool. I got my 15 stacks. Didn't even go on the album. I got my name on the cover though. You know what I mean? I got a little shout out. But yeah, what was most important was I got my bread and I got more opportunities from that opportunity.
What's your definition of an independent woman?
Well, to me, an independent woman is somebody who can do battle by themselves. Doesn't have to rely on a man.
A lot of them have their own businesses.
My future depends on me. You can leave them and it won't be no deal because you can still do everything you're doing before that.
I think that a lot of women thinks it means not needing anybody, and I think it means the opposite.
I don't think a woman should define herself as independent by social status or economic class.
You don't have to remind him you're making more money.
You're not going to sit down and let me work all day. As long as he's pulling his weight.
For me, it's not the dollar amount when it comes to a relationship. It comes down to the ambition of your man.
And if it's about a partnership, then really, you give a shit where the money comes from.
You can make less than me, that's okay.
That's what she says.
You know, a person who's a money status, I look at them as a prostitute to labels, a prostitute to material, a slave to cash.
Why is it always like a double standard for a man to be a little cocky with his when a woman, she has to be extremely humble now that she has the money? I don't think that's fair.
So I don't really gravitate towards the whole diva movement. I gravitate towards women.
Beyonce is considered a diva and she's definitely an independent woman.
If you have an ego, then you must go. Period.
Be a power couple. What's wrong with that? Why can't we have power couples?
You have, a married woman can say, I could be independent. I could sit on my own 2 feet.
I choose not to take care of myself by myself. I choose to have somebody.
It's not like I feel like I have to have, a man to complete my life. You know what I mean? I think he should be an addition.
I mean, she's independent. She would be able to sustain a certain level of stability for herself with or without me. You know what I'm saying? I compliment her and I add to that.
It's not about, okay, this is what I got, this is what you got, That tends to draw competition.
With independent women, it's kind of tricky.
I feel like I hear that a lot of independent women are getting stuck up more and more as the years go on. They're losing their feminine side. They're going into the realm of being a man.
To find somebody and to find love, you have to be willing to accept the person for who they are.
Like, if you think that you're going to dominate everything and just tell me and be in control of something, then there's no leverage for me to grow.
If he's not thinking that he doesn't have to be independent as well, then he probably, I don't know, I can't stipulate on what he's thinking.
We need to create a way for these relationships to work and, people to have expectations of what they could expect out of someone else.
Women say, I work. First of all, we go into relationships saying what they ain't going to do instead of what they are going to do. I work too. I'm not going to clean up. I'm not going to do that. Well, you know what? I work. So that don't mean that if your car breaks, I'm not supposed to fix the car. I still got to cut the yard. If the burglar breaks in, I still got to go get the burglar, and I work.
I think if we want equality, which is what we say we want, then go ahead and own up and accept it.
I'm on this guy that, we're a team and I need for you to be a man and do what a man is supposed to do.
And then, but having the man role, we're looked at as if we're probably, gonna instantly try to use. We have the negative factor always down there.
Necessarily controlled by her man, but she can think she can support him the way she needs to.
And she wants a great man in her life, but you know what? She's not going to go down, go chasing one.
Defend themselves and their thoughts and their ideas and speak up.
Attractive thing about a woman or a man is when they can say confidently who they are, whether it fits the norm or not. To me, that's independence.
No such thing as an independent woman because we're all dependent upon each other.